Hi, everyone, and welcome to Orange Slice, the podcast of OSU OKC. I'm Jack Damrell, Senior Director of Marketing and Communications for OSU OKC. We have a great program this afternoon. With us is the Vice President of OSU OKC, Mike Widell. Mike, welcome to the program. I know you're Vice President of Operations, you're Vice President of the campus. You run the show here.
Well, I try to run the side of the show that doesn't directly involve the students.
Sure.
So everything non-academic that we're responsible for. So it's a challenge and it's a great fun.
Talk about some of those divisions. I know you have so many divisions underneath you. In fact, we are underneath you, marketing communications. But talk about some of the other divisions within that you oversee.
You bet. We have a number of programs that we have on campus. We have, for example, Center for Social Innovation, which has been a really groundbreaking program that we've been working with students who they've experienced social barriers in their past. And so they're back on track, and we're making sure that we provide the supports to them to complete their college dreams. So we put them on a career path, and we have so many of those individuals that this has just absolutely transformed their life.
Sure.
We also have
In fact, if I cut you off, there was a story not too long ago in December. A local news station talked about CFSI.
Yeah, and it's such a fantastic operation that they have. Ariel has done an amazing job going through and creating a program that, it encapsulates the learnings, co-curricular learnings that an individual needs to really understand, I'm now a college student. How do I perform in college, and what's my highest performance? And again, get people ready for workforce readiness. We went through with one of the grants that we received and created a workforce readiness lab. So it's no longer just a classroom. It's an environment where students come in. It's a different type of seating, different type of desks that they use, et cetera. And then the programs that we provide in the system, it also supports that. It's to make sure that people are ready. One of the biggest problems in workforce and industry, I always say, is that people do not have soft skills. They're not ready for work. And whether you have a PhD or you're directly out of high school, you're not ready to go to work. You don't understand. It's kind of the basics that we used to have when I worked for Walmart. They used to say, everything you need to work for Walmart, you learned in kindergarten. Well, that sounds kind of ridiculous, but a lot of work is coming down to, can you get along with others?
Yeah.
Can you share? Can you get to work together in teams? And it's a lot of those foundational items that the workforce is not prepared for. And so we're making sure that these individuals, they've had so many issues in their past. We want to make sure that when they go out to work, they're ready to share the experience. They're ready to be engaged and help industry go to the next level.
And I think that also points to who our students are for the most part. We have the traditional students, those who graduate high school and then move on to college, and a two-year college is good for them first. But we have a lot of non-traditional students, those who are actually working now, those who may have gone to school and stepped away from college for a while and now are back. So a lot of non-traditional students we have on campus.
It's almost to the point with a college student is, what is a traditional student? There obviously on this campus, we have a lot of students, they've graduated from high school and they're beginning their career, or this is their career. They're going to become a nurse.
Sure.
They're going to go directly to work in a great career. But there are so many people that have been out in the work environment and they've stepped back and said, what is next for me? How do I get promoted? How do I ensure that I'm able to take care of my family? Or, I'm ready for a change.
Yeah.
And so it's really to the point with a lot of individuals that whole idea of a non-traditional student, that really is who a college student is anymore, is a person that's ready to learn, a person that's ready to take those career skills and go directly out into the marketplace and make a difference. So we have a lot of students who have had backgrounds. We have a lot of students who have, are what we call that traditional, but as you mentioned, we have a lot of people who are returning. It's always funny when we try to figure out what is our average age of a student. If we look at the actual demographics, well, it's in the late 20s.
Yeah.
But you start looking at the people that are in the classrooms and the people that are most engaged, it's people that are in their late 30s.
Yeah.
They now have a family, they have responsibilities, and it's really, what do I do next? And that's a great point where we have bachelor's programs now where you can take that prior learning and come in and complete a bachelor's program, and especially for those who are in public service and police, fire, emergency medical, that in that bachelor's program, they can complete that. It's all online, and it helps you get that next step.
Sure. You talked a little bit about it, workforce. We are huge into workforce. In fact, just about a month ago, a little over a month ago, OSU made this huge announcement. Dr. Casey Schrum in Tulsa made the huge announcement about Polytech and becoming the leader within Polytech and workforce hands-on learning for students like that. That was a huge announcement to really bring all three branch campuses and Stillwater together, and along with businesses to help our students get their experience before they graduate, and when they graduate, then they're ready to go.
You know, you brought up a really good point, and that's something that when OSU was going through strategic planning, my point throughout that process was to Oklahoma, there is one OSU. Mm-hmm. There is one Pistol Pete. Mm-hmm. And so it's very important for this institution as a system to come together, and that is really the perspective behind it, is that we are here as OSU to serve the state of Oklahoma.
Sure.
We are the preeminent land grant institution in the United States, but it is our mission to make sure that we serve the workforce needs of Oklahoma. Yes, OSU is a Research One university, absolutely. Yeah. But along with OSU Oklahoma City, OSU IT in Okmulgee, and OSU Tulsa, we fulfill very unique workforce needs. And people always get kind of confused as to what is a workforce need.
Sure.
So when you look at what is workforce, it's making sure that industry has people in place to fulfill critical occupation needs. Mm-hmm. And so there is actually a list that is available from the state of Oklahoma that lists those critical occupations. Those are the occupations that are growing. Interesting fact is that most of the jobs that will exist in 2030 don't even exist today. About 80% of those jobs don't even exist.
Yeah.
And you sit and wonder, how is that going to happen? Well, let's think of the changes that have just recently happened. Of course, we went through pandemic.
Sure.
And pandemic, of course, was, a definite situation that compressed time.
Yeah.
A lot of change happened in that. People are working more from home, more remote work. A lot of the style that we work has changed. The expectations from industry has changed. But a lot of technology advances as well. So you have, for example, a lot of AI. You have artificial intelligence that people, look at, like one program is ChatGPT or others. But we use it every day. Mm-hmm. When the minute that you say, Alexa, hey Siri, or hey Google, you are actually providing AI into your home. You are utilizing it every day. I think one of the funniest things I saw is a person, we were trying to figure out AI, and they actually asked Siri, hey, Siri, what is AI? You're using AI right there. So people that are afraid of AI, or how does that integrate into my life, you're using it today. Yeah. When you call the bank and you're put on hold and they're trying to ascertain what your needs are through a voice-generated bot, that is AI. We're already using it. It's just now to the point that it's starting to integrate more into our life, and the capabilities are there more. Well, the workforce isn't ready for that. And so that's one place that you have to look at, that's going to make a big change in the workforce. Yeah. Just as an industry, you have more robotics. If you go into a modern warehouse now, it's very few times that you see people out wandering around with baskets and trying to pick off of paper orders. Yep. It's robotics that are bringing it to them. And so the world is rapidly changing. We need to make sure that the workforce is prepared for it. So from a workforce perspective, that is the role of this institution, is to make sure that business and industry, as we were founded, OSU Oklahoma City was founded because there was a direct workforce need in Oklahoma City. But it's a higher need. It's different than career tech. Yeah. The individuals that are going to school here are not just learning a skill. They're learning how to be invested in their job, how to be curious, how to develop new products, how to think differently. Am I a different person once I go through higher education? Yeah. We all have our place in the system, but as a higher ed institution, it's extremely important that we're highly involved in that. And that's really kind of the thought process behind the Polytech announcement, is that OSU together is now able to, as a system, provide the workforce needs for Oklahoma to ensure that citizens have great jobs and be able to increase their personal wealth.
And here at OKC, we have a lot of business relationships, OG&E, IMSA, Highway Patrol, businesses like that, but this will only expand that and grow that.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we have a number of companies that we work with, and, you know, a lot of times we're not as good as thanking them as we are of integrating them into our programs. But we need to make sure that business is involved. And so this is definitely a call out to all industry in Oklahoma. We're here to serve. We're here to help you. And so let us know what your needs are. You know, we have the industry panels that we use for our advisory committees, which is essential to making sure that our programs are responsive. But anytime someone from industry needs help, they need to reach out to OSU first.
So given all that we talked about real quickly, because we're running out of time, but given what we talked about, what you talked about, workforce, if a student was looking at OSU OKC, what would you say to them to get them here?
I really think the number one thing for somebody to come to OSU is to think about whether you know exactly what you want to be in your career, or if you know exactly where you want to go. You need to come to OSU Oklahoma City to find out if that's where you want to be. You want to make sure that that industry is relevant going into the future. You want to make sure that you have the right staff and the right faculty that are there to support you and to teach you. And so I would say to those students that are looking at what do I want to be, is come and see what we have. Come and experience our campus and make sure that you have that opportunity availed to you, because this is your future. We want to make sure you have the brightest future. OSU is America's brightest orange. We want to make sure you're part of it.
And this comes from someone who's always a student of the game. You are currently in school getting your doctorate, so you're still in school now.
I'm still in school now. And that's something that's very important, is you're never too old. I never thought that I would go back for my doctorate.
Yeah.
But you don't know when that moment's going to come, when you decide, you know what, I need to go back. So as much as we've talked about, you know, we have bachelor's programs for people who want to continue their career, you know, even for myself, I sat back and went, it's time for me to take that next step. So for anyone that is wondering, am I too old? Is it too late? It absolutely never is.
Well, Mike Widell, thank you for sitting in today. You will also see him. He's going to host some of our shows as well. So looking forward to you hosting some of our shows later on.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. Really enjoy that we now have the podcast ability, and this is a great advancement for the campus. So thank you for you and your team.
All right, Mike Widell, Vice President of Operations here at OSU OKC. Thanks for joining us on this edition of Orange Slice. We will see you next time.